all-time highs. Megan, we've talked with you guys at length about NVIDIA before. You guys are always pretty positive. All these big tech companies are saying that they're investing in all the AI infrastructure. NVIDIA takes advantage of that, but it seems like maybe investors are looking at this stock and this company that maybe the best days are over for NVIDIA, because that's the way it's been trading.
Yeah, we have talked a lot about NVIDIA in the past, and we were excited about NVIDIA then. We are definitely excited about it now as it trades at these lower levels. And we see a lot of this being driven by some fear and uncertainty regarding the impact of potential trade policies and just this rate of sustained growth. I think that NVIDIA has performed so well, it's natural for investors to say, okay, how much can this growth keep going at this pace? And at what point is this overvalued? So at these levels, we can look at things, and the places that we can look for NVIDIA are overall consumer demand. So are people continuing to talk about NVIDIA and its products, specifically its Blackwell line, at a higher rate? And are they visiting sites and showing signs of forward-looking interest for NVIDIA? And so far, at least in our metrics, they are. We see NVIDIA web visits up by about 22% year over year. And this is actually accelerating if you look at this on a 30-day moving average versus a 90-day moving average. And what's impressive about this, for us, this is just a sign of momentum. So for us, this tells us that demand is continuing to outpace that supply. We look at this too, and what's crazy is that NVIDIA already has a really significant mind share and market share versus other players in this field, yet its growth rate remains the highest. It is nice to see AMD start to gain some traction there as well when it comes to consumer interest, but NVIDIA is already the largest player in the game, and it's just extending its lead. And so I think as an investor, that's really powerful to know that this is the best of breed, and at least on our end, the chatter and discussions related to its products continues to grow.
Investors are drawn to semiconductor giant NVIDIA because of their significant contributions to the field of artificial intelligence, AI. As its highly respected graphic processing units, GPUs, become essential for AI applications, NVIDIA's shares jumped 26.3% in the last year. According to Precedence Research, the global GPU market is predicted to grow from $101.54 billion in 2025 to $1,414.39 billion by 2034 due to the growing need for the Internet of Things and the rise in sales of portable gadgets. As a result, NVIDIA's dominance in the GPU market will propel the business's future expansion. According to Mercury Research, NVIDIA has a market share of more than 80% in discrete GPUs. Additionally, NVIDIA is in a strong position to benefit from the large data center investments made by tech behemoths such as Microsoft, Alphabet, and Meta platforms. NVIDIA's data center revenues increased 93% to $35.6 billion in its most recent quarter, which concluded on January 26th. Further rise in its data center sales is anticipated, as data center spending is predicted to surpass $2 trillion over the next 5 years. By the way, the threat posed by DeepSeek is overblown. NVIDIA will eventually gain from increased computing power utilization because to its huge language models' low cost. In any case, the chipmaker has the resources to improve the AI ecosystem and produce affordable goods. Additionally, businesses will look to NVIDIA for processors as the need for AI data infrastructure increases. Needless to say, in the fourth quarter of fiscal 2025, sales of NVIDIA's Blackwell AI processor reached $11 billion, exceeding Wall Street's forecasts. So, what implications does this have for NVIDIA's stock? Let's explore that. But first, a big thank you to those of you who've stuck with us this far. Creating these videos takes significant effort and dedication, so if you're enjoying the content, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and share your thoughts on NVIDIA stock in the comments. Your support truly helps us grow. Now, let's get back to the video.
Megan, everyone keeps waiting for the drop-off, right? We've seen it Tom and I have seen it in AOL and in that, and we've seen it lately in streaming, right? And now everyone considers this the next bubble in AI, but bubbles, what inning are we in, Megan, is what people want to know, right? Are we late because the numbers putting out in CapEx spending, and here they are, projected $204 billion in CapEx spending with a net income of $113 billion from that CapEx spending, which we all have a pretty good idea that NVIDIA is going to be the recipient of a lion's share of that. So, but yet, there's naysayers out there, and there's obviously the stock is significantly off its recent highs. And are we going to look back 6 months from now? How are we going to view this period of softness, not in just in NVIDIA, but in the overall market? How are we going to see this in 6 months? Was it just a massive buying opportunity? What was it just a big, collection and people getting out? Or is this the obvious? Remember, in streaming, all the streamers sold off, but Netflix turned out to be a screaming buy when it sold off with the other streamers. What do you guys think? What does your data say about NVIDIA? And the simpler question is, what inning are we in, Megan?
I wish I had a crystal ball to go forward 6 months and be able to make the exact right call here, right? Wouldn't that be amazing? But the way that we look at this, I love the analogy that you used with Netflix and its best of breed, because NVIDIA reminds me of the Netflix of this space. This is a company that's proven it's agile. It's able to shift up product and innovate to meet consumer demand where that demand's needed. I think if you look at just the overall growth and strength of its data center products, that's now driving 91% of its revenue. 2 years ago, it was 60%. So this is a company that can pivot and lean into areas of demand where necessary, and it's driving all of the technology innovations that we see when we talk about AI at large. I know the company itself has said that next-gen AI models will require millions of times the current compute power that is currently being used. And so obviously the company itself is optimistic, but you can look at some of the CapEx spend, like you mentioned, when we look at these big tech players from Meta to Alphabet to Microsoft, and we continue to see these players increase their CapEx spend pretty significantly even from last year. So I think NVIDIA is really well positioned to take advantage of this. We still think it's fairly early. We're not one of the naysayers in that camp that say that this bubble is bursting. But I think that it is going to be interesting to see how this uncertainty and fear at large and this pullback that we're witnessing right now in the market, how long this lasts. As terms of a new potential catalyst for NVIDIA, I know that there's an investor conference coming up in about 10 days that could spark some interest. There could be some updates on demand and product innovations, and it will certainly continue to dominate the news cycle. But for us at large, we see NVIDIA as a best of breed in AI, and we like that it is continuing to expand its consumer mind share, and we'll just be continuing to listen to these players who are gobbling up its GPUs as fast as they can to see how long this growth can sustain.
Yeah, we'll continue to watch this story because it's below some key support levels.
After Bloomberg revealed that Project Stargate, the major AI infrastructure endeavor, is likely to use roughly 64,000 of NVIDIA's graphics processing units, GPUs, by December 2026, the company's stock is up 2%. AI models are frequently trained using NVIDIA's GPUs. An up-close look at a vibrant high-end graphics card connected to a gaming PC. One data center in Texas is expected to use NVIDIA's 64,000 chips as part of Project Stargate, according to Bloomberg. Additionally, the news source stated that 16,000 of NVIDIA's GPUs will be able to support the data center by this summer. According to OpenAI, Oracle and OpenAI are working together to build the data center in Texas. Oracle, OpenAI, and SoftBank are spearheading Project Stargate, which is anticipated to invest $100 billion on AI infrastructure. The initiative, which was unveiled at the White House in January, could ultimately require up to 10 data centers. On average, analysts predict that the chipmaker's earnings per share will increase from $2.99 in 2024 to $4.50 this year. The enterprise value EBITDA ratio of the shares is 31 times, while the forward price-to-earnings ratio is 25 times. NVIDIA has lost 15% in the past month and 22% over the previous 3 months. So far this year, NVIDIA has dropped 18%. Even though we recognize NVIDIA's potential, we are convinced that certain AI stocks have a better chance of producing larger returns in a shorter amount of time. Check out our research on the cheapest AI stocks if you're searching for a more promising AI stock than NVIDIA that trades at less than 5 times its earnings. To stay informed about the latest developments from NVIDIA and the ever-changing stock market, consider subscribing to our investing tutorial channel. We provide daily updates on significant market shifts and key catalysts, so hit that subscribe button to ensure you never miss crucial information. We'd love to hear your thoughts on NVIDIA stock, so please share your opinions in the comments below. Now let's dive into today's video.
NVIDIA's lost $1 trillion in market cap since its high in early January. That's pretty remarkable. $1 trillion in market cap wiped out.
While revenues and earnings continue to get stronger and stronger. And that's where, as an investor, you have to say, the market doesn't believe the E of NVIDIA, because NVIDIA right now is trading at a PE below Apple, right? Apple's revenues and earnings are growing in the single digits. NVIDIA's revenues and earnings are growing in the 70 to 100%. Yet, even though Apple is not growing, the market says, well, it's not growing, but I feel comfortable with the E. The market doesn't feel comfortable with the E on NVIDIA. I think there'll be a point here on the chips when you just have to plug your nose and buy them, because I promise if you look at Broadcom, Dell's ISG Group, NVIDIA, Marvell, the data center trade is not slowing down. Well, the data center trade is great for jobs.
Marvell was ugly, right? After earnings.
But their earnings were great.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. The stock went down the way it did. Even Broadcom had strong results, and that stock was going to be our chart of the day. Pulled that off because the reaction in the market wasn't as strong as it was. Now it's ramping a little bit further up. But what about this space? Chips, which have been weak.
It's been difficult. But I mean, I think the view from here, as you were citing, is the earnings, the multiples. These are getting in value ranges. And I think that's what's really attractive here. And I think that's one of the reasons with the pessimism is that I think we can have a really nice rally out of this. Again, I'm not saying it bottoms in, but Broadcom is one of our larger holdings. 78% year over year growth in the AI segment. This is just tremendous stuff. NVIDIA's earnings, at least it's not shaking it off like it did NVIDIA's quite yet. But I think these names, they have a place in your portfolio. We like them. And I think we're going to see them have better days.
It all depends. And I want to say one more thing on NVIDIA. One of the things that I wonder about a lot is I don't think it's the real NVIDIA investors who are selling that, who've sold it down 25%. If we think about the work that Bob Pisani did on those crazy single stock ETFs, right? Where let's say you thought you missed out on NVIDIA 2 months ago and you got in late and you bought a 2 times leverage NVIDIA exchange traded fund, and now you're washed out, and then that's compounded. I think the pain in some of these stocks, like NVIDIA, to Bryn's excellent point, is trading cheaper than Apple and still has 70% earnings growth ahead. I don't think the pain's from people making a fundamental decision on that. I think it's from these like Yahoo kooky fringes that are now being forced to sell, and then that takes the money out, because I think the vast majority are sitting on those positions. But it's just, there's maximum uncertainty right now, and you can't
With its most recent massive acquisition, NVIDIA is further establishing its dominance in the AI chip market. With plans to install 64,000 NVIDIA GB200 chips by 2026, OpenAI, Oracle, and SoftBank are accelerating their $500 billion Stargate project. An initial batch of 16,000 chips is scheduled to go online this summer. This is only the start of what might be one of the biggest investments in AI infrastructure to date, with the first data center already under construction in Abilene, Texas. Stargate's scope is astounding. It is anticipated that the project would grow to up to 10 locations, thereby solidifying NVIDIA's leadership in the AI semiconductor market and Oracle's position in AI supercomputing. With Anthropic, Amazon is doubling down on AI infrastructure and installing thousands of its own Trainium 2 chips to fuel next-generation AI models. In the meanwhile, Amazon isn't sitting still. This means one thing to investors: NVIDIA is at the forefront of the escalating AI weapons race. The market for high-performance AI chips is still growing, and NVIDIA is establishing itself as the clear leader in AI computing with its most recent actions. If Stargate is any guide, there may be an extraordinary surge in AI-driven investment in the next years, which would pave the way for NVIDIA's next significant development. Don't forget to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your input helps create a more knowledgeable community where we can all learn and grow together in the world of investing. Stay up to date with the latest market trends, insights, and key updates by subscribing to Investing Tutorial. We're here to help you make smarter investment decisions and stay ahead of the curve.